This is a video of some stories of the subreddit ProRevenge. Personally, I cannot believe people would actually do this to someone, so I'm very pleased to see them get what they deserve. This happened around 2012. Back then I used to live in southern Europe. I was a university student in a remote, rural place. I had just moved to a new apartment and naturally, my first order of business was to make sure that I have a running internet connection. The problem was that, due to the place I was living in being so remote, there was only one ISP provider available. You didn't like the provider? Too bad. Anyway, I signed the necessary paperwork in time, moved to the new place, set up the router and all, and thankfully my connection is fine. That is until day 3 or 4 when out of nowhere my internet connection dies, but my phone was working normally. Okay, no probs. I call the ISP to open a ticket. The representative tells me that they will get back to me soon. A few days pass by and nothing, so I decide to call them again. The representative tells me that they are still investigating the problem and that they will get back to me soon. Now, this is the point where I'm starting to get frustrated. I know that the internet in the area is fine. In fact, my next door neighbor's internet connection is great, so the problem must be something that is easily fixable. Right, wrong. A week has passed by, and I call them again. This time the representative tells me that they have investigated the issue and the problem is officially of unknown origins, which means that they cannot give me an ETA for the fix. I hand up the phone feeling sad and perplexed. As I contemplate my internetless existence, the representative's words echo in my mind. Unknown origins. We cannot give you an ETA. Slowly, my sadness transforms into denial. How is this possible? My phone connection still works, so the line is there. I know for a fact that everyone in the area has a stable internet connection. This must be a simple bug that is easily fixable. This can only mean one thing. Someone has not been doing his job correctly. The denial becomes anger. How dare they tell me that they cannot give me an ETA? This should be illegal. What if my job depends on internet connection? Not to mention that internet access is a basic human right. They are denying me my rights by not giving me an ETA. At this point the issue stops being internet connection. It is about the principle of the matter. As a human being and a customer, I'm entitled to an ETA. I call the ISP again, and I try to explain my flawless reasoning. No luck. The poor representative who listens to my rant tells me the only thing I can do is to open a new ticket. Shocked by my inability to define my fate, I accept his offer and hang up. And then, a magnificent idea is born. Since the only thing I can do is to open a new ticket, then this is exactly what I'm going to do. From that point on I was calling my ISP provider 2 to 5 times daily. Each time, I was telling the representative the same thing. This is what has happened. I know that there are multiple tickets with my name on them already, but I want to open a new one. Most of the representatives were very amused by my story. Everyone complied. A month later, yes, a month passed by without the issue having been fixed. I get a call from the regional tech executive of the ISP. The call goes like this. Executive, long angry rant. You must stop opening tickets. You are flooding our ticketing system. At first I was shocked at how aggressive the executive was. He was clearly one step away from starting to calling me names. I knew that the only reason this did not happen was that these calls are being recorded, and then my shock transforms into a visible glorious erection. You see, my friends, this is the point I realized that I was winning. Me, well, are you going to give me an ETA for a fix? Executive, we cannot give you an ETA. The problem is of an unknown origin. Me, then I guess I will keep opening tickets. Executive, hangs up. To cut a long story short, this exchange renewed my passion for crushing the souls who have wronged me, so I kept opening tickets at the same place for another 30 to 40 days. I estimate that in the course of the total 70 days that this lasted, I must have opened more than 250 tickets. One day my phone rings. I pick it up, and it is an ISP representative who tells me this. Mr. OP, is this you? Your problem has been solved. Everyone at ISP is talking about you. Indeed, on that day my internet connection was back. The cool part about this, however, was that I had internet all along. Remember my neighbor? She was kind enough to let me know her Wi-Fi password since day 1. If you think the ISP providers were bad, wait for the next one. And if you have any stories of your own or some you think deserve mentioning, please comment it. I used to work for a married couple, Billy and Gigi, who owned a business services, public relations agency. It lasted for more or less a year. They seemed nice and humble, but in reality, they were shady and untruthful. The company began to falter because of poor management and zero intention to prioritize. Billy was your babyface neighbor type. He looked 10 years younger and had a kind smile. He was soft-spoken and had an artistic and creative flair to him. Gigi looked matronly with a Mother Earth incarnate attitude towards her children. She prided herself on being ruthless. When it came to giving her family only the best, she could be really nice when she wanted to, but I found out early on that she was 100% apt at gossip and being two-faced. The company's constant changes were a red flag. They went from business services plus PR agency to IT provider, to a business incubator, to indie beer partners. What I'm trying to say is that they tried to dip their donut on everyone's coffee. Figuratively, some of us had no real way to escape. The lady working next to me was already 67 years old and scared no one would hire her. I was not in a great place either. We were 8 employees in total. They would not lay anyone off because they believed that the employee should quit. They paid us only a portion of our salaries, incomplete weekly payments. Employees would run for the hills once they found a better job. Some of us were stuck. It was horrible. Then, they would pay the normal rate for a month, and then do it again. They would never cut on their luxury expenses, so the wife would post her shopping sprees, or arrive in a new car, like it was nothing. Zero empathy. Very insensitive. The husband was obsessed with making it big time, so much that he sometimes failed to see an opportunity right in front of him. He said he was Coca-Cola's brand manager. I swear I looked it up and could never find any reference. Gigi had a displace of small local magazines, mostly about design and architecture. They were proud to be a team member, but in reality, they just helped them print to issues. They wanted big business only, but in meantime, looked down upon tangible potential clients, like the young Latino couple who showed up trying to learn more about their services. They seemed lost because they wanted someone to help them set up a coffee business and had no idea how it was done. I talked to them and helped them into the waiting room. They even showed up with their baby in a stroller. That means they must have driven by and decided to come in. An impulsive client should be retained. The guy said his grandpa had a farm and he wanted to create an import-export company. Once Billy showed up, he listened for a bit, then kind of gave them an abrupt dismissal. That was a dick move, because that couple opened their own business with someone else, and even have a FB page. It could have been Billy. Billy lined his office walls with posters of Steve Jobs and Elon Musk. His wife, the chief enabling officer, put up signs on each room. The main employee area was the machine room. Billy's office was the chamber. The conference room was a meeting of minds. Every time an employee disagreed with Billy during a brainstorming session, Gigi would call them aside and tell them, "Billy is your boss. You need to know that he is brilliant and a genius. I want him to have that taste of success." I experienced that firsthand. I also hated brainstorming because that was never on my job description. They just wanted to pick everyone's brains. In the meantime, we had to see the Pandora jewelry, the expensive makeovers for their daughters, and the weekend spa updates on FB. Gigi's captions were usually about rewarding herself after a hard week, or because she deserved it. Oh, and I would like to mention that they bought into the social guru phrases about emotional direction. So if an employee ever got angry, Gigi would tell you, remember, the one who gets angry is the one who ends up losing. For anyone who has been in this situation, you may understand how painful it can be. You cannot leave the job because you have no other job waiting on you. And pathetic as it may sound to some income is better than no income at all. This is an involuntary compromise, and it is abusive. Where were we expected to pay for their luxuries via incomplete wages? My best friend's ex is into coding, and he agreed to help. If it did not work out, at least we would have something to laugh about. We created a great fake website with a matching LinkedIn, and the whole 9 yards. To make a long story short, this was supposed to be an investment company and my friend would be very casual, nothing too eager. He started by liking my employer's FB page, then comment. Before we knew, my boss took the bait and was engaging. They exchanged emails, and he was eager to share all his projects and ambitious crap. On the other side, the investor sent him a list of requirements, like proof of concept, employer payroll, EIN, etc. The investor agreed to work with them if they could prove they were legit and up to date. No bank account of confidential info was asked. Within 3 weeks, I was paid the equivalent to the 2 months and a half I was owed. The investor did an about face and never contacted him again. I left the job as soon as I could. My friend who remained until she got paid told me our boss seemed off and a bit down after he announced big things are coming, but it all seemed to deflate. I never disclosed what was going on. Edit. My boss was not scammed into paying money to the fake website. He was catfished into getting to date with employee salaries he owed. Edit. For anyone who doesn't understand the story, no money was paid. Asked for more wired from my boss to the investor. We baited his greedy character and told him that if he could prove everything was in order, the investment would happen. This included payroll. No information was asked or offered, seen or reviewed. He paid everyone what he owed them. The payment was made to each worker normally. No one stole money via any website. He just made the diligence. EIN numbers and what we asked are not confidential.